Hi, I'm Amanda, and I'll be one of your hosts on this episode of Chic Chat. Chic Chat is the place where we celebrate the perfect fusion of style and adventure. Jeeps have long been synonymous with ruggedness, freedom, and the spirit of adventure, and who says women can't embrace all of that and more? I'm super excited for today's guest, Debbie. Debbie is new to wheeling, but instantly fell in love and inspired by the camaraderie and the strong female presence in the off-road community. Married to Wes for over 20 years, they have 4 children who often join in their adventures. As almost empty nesters, they sought a hobby that they could share and launched Beam and Builds in 2024. They document and share building their custom Jeeps, Wesicon and Devicon, as well as their high horsepower diesel trucks and the adventures that they take with them. Debbie, welcome to Chic Chat.
Thank you so much for having me.
The A-Team.
So it was hard for me to believe since we first met out in Trail Hero last year in 2024 that you are new to wheeling. I would have never, ever guessed that when we were hitting the trails last year. So tell me about that. Tell me how you got into wheeling.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So wheeling is actually my husband's his hobby, and he has been into it for over 20 years. He had to kind of take a hiatus because we had children, of course. I mean, children are expensive, so are Jeeps. So, had to pick one. But he's all into YouTube. And so every Saturday morning, he's always watching his YouTube videos and everything. And one of the weekly things that he would always watch is his Jeeping videos. And I would always be like, why are you watching something that, like, they're going 3 miles an hour over rocks? Like, what's so interesting about that? I just don't get it. We ended up buying an older Jeep. My husband completely modified it, built her from the ground up, made it a monster rock crawler. It took him 3 years to do. And we love it. That's Wesicon. And we ended up buying like a newer Jeep. So I've got a 2021 Jeep. And I ended up going down with some friends down to St. George for work, actually. And on one of our evenings, we went out to Sand Hollow and they wanted to show me around. And I think it was great that I went without Wes because I could just actually experience it and no pressure from him. Like, you love it, right? And I instantly fell in love with it. So that was a year and a half ago, and ended up breaking out my back window doing it. So that's another story, but I instantly fell in love with it. And yeah, everything's history from then. Like, it's been great. It's been awesome. I think to include Winter Jamboree that we just finished last week, I'd say I've wheeled a total of 18 days, but it's so much fun. So much fun.
It's addicting. It's like once you start, you just can't get enough, I feel like.
Right? It was so fun to finally meet you too, and to see you on the maze. So we were in Trail Hero together. We were on the maze. And so I create these videos for Beam and Builds, and I saw your name actually stuck out to me because I was just like, Walker, Texas Wrangler. That's the cutest name ever. Like, that's awesome. And then I found you on Instagram. I'm like, that's her. That's her. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was so glad that you reached out to me after that because I saw you on the trail and like you were killing it. And I was like, man, she's awesome. She must be a pro. And then we started chatting and like, I had no idea, like I said, that you were new to it at all. Certainly doesn't seem that way out on the trail. So before I guess y'all got Wesicon first, right? And then got your Jeep Devicon. So did you ever drive Wesicon before you got your Jeep?
Maybe in our backyard. I've literally only driven his Jeep one time on the trail, and that was on Milt's Mile. And I did hard right turn on that one. And it was the only time that I drove it. It was on, I think, day 2 of Trail Hero. He had a locker issue when we were doing 777. And so we ended up missing our time for Unforgiven at Trail Hero. So we just ended up going out with the family, and we were just driving around, just practicing, having fun, letting the kids drive. Like, the twins both got to drive Wesicon, and Christiana, one of the twins, her boyfriend, Angel, who does a lot of our recording for Beam and Builds, he got to drive the Devicon. And so we came up on hard right turn, and Wes is like, "Do you want to drive Westacon?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to try it." And now, mind you, I've been driving Debicon, and it's only on 37s, or was on 37s, and basically stock at the time. And so doing the 8 rated trails were a little bit more difficult. I actually had to work for it. And I drove his Jeep, and it went right up it, no issues, just crawled it. And I'm like, this is cheating. This is just cheating. Like, it's not even fair. It's not fair. So then I kind of got the bug for modifying. So one of the things that I ran into while I was at Trail Hero was I just couldn't steer. I ended up we were on Front Range, and I was doing the very first, I think it's called the pinch, but it's the very first obstacle there. And you're trying to stay off the wall, because if you slide into it, then it'll pin you against the wall. And I was trying so hard to steer, and so hard, and everything. And everybody's like, "You need some steer assist, like for real," because I ended up sliding down, ended up getting pinched in there, ended up scuffing up my fenders, which I was like, I guess I need new fenders because they're scratched. But yeah, it started out with the PSC steer assist, and Wes actually got that for me for Christmas. It was a great Christmas. Like, I would have never thought that I'd want Jeep parts for Christmas. You would have asked me 2 years ago, it would have never even crossed my mind, but I was so excited about it. We got the steer assist in, and I was like, it'd be really cool if I also had 40s. Like, that would be cool. And
Heck
he ended up finding a set of 40s online marketplace. He's addicted, I swear. Need to keep him away from it. But anyways, he found some really cheap ones, and I was like, I'm a Mickey Thompson girl, like through and through. And so we started looking at Mickey Thompson 40s. And then he's like, we could always just keep your 37s for your daily driving, and then get the stickies for just when you're off-roading. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what you've got. You've got stickies. I want to try it. So we pulled the thread there, as with any modification with a Jeep. Like, the second you start modifying one thing, it's like, if you're going to go to 40s, okay, well, you're going to need, better axle shafts. You're going to need to re-gear. We had to chop a lot off of the fenders to be able to get them to fit. It's only on a 2.5-inch lift. So yeah, it pulled the thread, and we ended up like doing all these different things, and it ended up being 2 weeks before Winter 4x4 Jamboree. So every night we were working super late to get it done, and we got it done literally the night before. Like, the front axle shafts arrived at 4 p.m. the night before we were supposed to leave. So we rushed to get those in the night before, and yes, but she was done, and it was great. The best modifications I could have ever asked for is a totally different Jeep than what we had at Trail Hero.
Yeah. Listen, I feel your pain on the steer assist, because people just don't. Well, I'm not going to say they don't understand, because they probably have wheeled their Jeep maybe at some point before the steering assist. But I think you forget after a while what a struggle it is to try to wrangle that steering, to get it to work when you're in a bind or on an obstacle. And I haven't had mine super long either. We got it on right before Trail Hero, and the 40s as well. So yeah, you saw me on my learning curve there, trying to refigure out everything. So tell us more about
it. You did so good.
Well, thanks. I'm glad that nobody could tell that I felt like I was driving my Jeep for the first time. That's good. That's good news.
You didn't show it even a bit at all.
Thank you. So tell us more about Debicon. We know now that she's got 40 stickies, or well, she is when you're on the trail, but tell us some more about her.
So she is a 2021 eco diesel, which a lot of people, when I'm on the trail, like you'll hear people when I'm editing down, it's like, is that a diesel? Is that a diesel? Oh yeah, she's a diesel, and I love it. I love it. So many people have asked me, like, how do you like the diesel? I absolutely like it. Love it. So when I first got into wheeling, I mean, Wes has got the Wesicon and he LS swapped it. So the engine that he has in that came out of a 2012 Camaro, I think. So it got into an accident. It only had 20,000 miles on it. And so it's a wonderful engine. It sounds so good. And so when we started getting into wheeling a little bit, I threw out the idea like, let's throw a Hellcat in there. Let's supercharge it. Let's do it. I mean, it sounds fun and all until you actually go out onto the trail. And I think there was someone who had a Hellcat swap in theirs and they just spun out on everything. And I'm like, nah, I don't want that. So the Eco Diesel, I just love the low end torque. It helps you just crawl things because that's really my style. I'm not the kind of person that likes to throttle it out. I really, really just like to crawl. That's why the stickies have worked so well for me. It's night and day difference. Like I don't feel like I need to really do the Moab bump at all. I don't need to throttle it out at all. Just need to get them a little bit warm and they just crawl right up. So yeah, the Eco Diesel, she's now got the Mickey Thompson 40s. Like I said, they are the Baja Boss X. We re-geared to 488s. We did the Revolution axle shafts, the chromoles for the front and the rear. I know that I should go to 1 tons. It does still have the stock Dana 44s in them, but eventually we're going to go to the 1 ton axles. It just takes time.
Oh, girl, yeah.
Yeah,
I do the 44s too. And I know people say you shouldn't do it, but I feel like if you're like us and you like to crawl, as long as you're not getting crazy with it, they'll do.
For sure.
They'll do for now.
For sure. Then we've got the Apex tie rods and all the front steering components with that. Trying to think what else. Yeah, no, she's even almost stock. It was an amazing machine. Like there's his Jeep and my Jeep are really polar opposites. He's got it's an older TJ. It was funny because it was just like this black 1990s something TJ, and with the red Jurassic Park doors. You remember those, right? Oh yeah, it's so funny. We actually have a video of the transformation of it. But go him with the 2-door TJ, and then me with the 4-door, and him with the LS motor in it, and me with the Eco Diesel. It is two very, very different animals. And what's funny is that it's very much our personalities because he is all about hitting it. Like he loves just like pedal to the metal, like loves that skinny pedal, I swear. And I'm the kind of person that is just, I like technical things. I like crawling. I like being meticulous. And I like to do things very, very slow. A lot of times when I'm making videos, I have to speed up my stuff because I'm just going so slow. It's like, oh my gosh, someone's not going to want to sit here and watch me for a minute, go so slow over an obstacle. But it fits our personalities and I love it. I really, really do.
I love it. Yeah, I've seen one of your videos on Beam and Builds on the YouTube channel where he's sending it up to an obstacle, and you said something about he's the king of send it or something. It made me laugh.
Yeah, that was Angel. I had to beep out a word or two that he said in there, but yeah, it was so funny. So that was the last day of Winter 4x4 Jamboree. And there was no actual like official trails being run. We were running with our good friends Rick and T and David and Reggie. Now we had met Rick. He was our guide on Front Range, and once at Trail Hero. And once we had finished Front Range, we ended up going on to Papa Smurf. And by that point, like I was still so afraid of like I don't want to lift a tire. Never tell me when I'm lifting a tire and everything. And he put me in situations where I would lift a tire, right? And he would be like, stop now, feel your vehicle, feel how that feels, feel how like you need to learn the balance of your vehicle. And just that one day with him, I learned so much. And by the end of it, if you look at I think it's our Papa Smurf video, like I'm throwing big Jeep waves everywhere and it doesn't bother me. Like it's good to experience those things in a controlled environment so you can learn how the vehicle reacts in those kind of situations. But we ended up running with Rick and his wife T. We did West Rim, which I guess converges onto Fault Line, which I was like, West Rim is like a four-rated trail. Like, what are we doing on a four-rated trail? And Reggie's like, oh man, he can make any trail an 8, 9, 10. He'll find all the obstacles. And so we ended up first going to the launch pad, and Rick was basically like, it's almost like You Gotta Be Nuts, but maybe just a touch shorter. But I walked up to it and I'm like, oh no, what am I doing? I mean, I bypassed You Gotta Be Nuts when we were on the maze. Like you walk up to You Gotta Be Nuts and it is so intimidating. Video does not do it justice.
No.
And it was kind of the same way with Launchpad. We walked up to it and it's like, I don't know if I can do this. But after wheeling with him for a little bit, he's like, your Jeep will be fine. Like it's good. Just give it enough throttle, get enough momentum, and you'll get to the top, no problem. And so we got to the top and it was fine. But then there was this, they call it the second launch pad. It's not officially named or whatever, but it's just right up the hill from it. And it's a lot shorter, but a lot steeper. And he said that it's the two doors that really struggle with that one. And in fact, there was someone who had rolled, and it's really close to, I don't want to say a cliff, but a nice long hill. And I guess they had rolled their Jeep several times. And so people have been a little afraid to do it, especially people in two doors. And I think it was 2 or 3 days prior, Wes actually rolled the Wesicon, and that's a whole other story. But it changed him a little bit. So I could see that he wasn't in like total send it mode anymore. He was just a little bit more methodical. And so we got up to that one, and you know, I went up it, and then he comes up to it and he's just like kind of testing it out. And you could tell he's not quite sure if he really wants to do it, right? But of course, since I went up it, it's almost like I bullied him into doing it. Like he cannot see me do an obstacle and then him be like, no, I'm not going to do it. Like that is just not his personality. Like if Deb did it, I'm going to do it too. So you could tell he like paused there for a second, and I'm doing the whole, I love you. You know, we have our wheel right. We're good. And so then he sends it, and he told me he didn't mean to send it that much, but I mean that LS motor just kicked in, and he just sent it to the moon. Like the front two tires were off the ground, and all of us were like, what did we just witness? It was incredible. It was so fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a wild video. I was like, oh my.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it looks like he made it over unscathed. So
Yeah. Yeah. We were all very, very happy about that. Yeah, for sure.
So before you got into Jeeping, were you into motorsports at all, or is this like a whole new ballpark for you?
Oh no, I love vehicles. So my dad was very much a car guy, and he had some sports cars, and he taught me how to drive at a very young age. A long time ago, well, a long time ago, about 15 years ago, I had a BMW M3 that I used to take out to the track and go play around on. I love speed. I absolutely love it. I'm more into driving like sports cars. Currently have a Camaro myself, and I love driving it. And I will not say at what speeds. I do not want to implicate myself. So I don't want to go to jail. But yeah, some ungodly numbers there, and I absolutely love it. So no, I'm a big fan of driving. Wes never lets me drive when we go out on road trips and stuff. And so anytime I have a chance to get behind the wheel, I'm all about it. So I think that's why wheeling kind of came a little natural to me, is just because I love driving anyways. And I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie too. It doesn't, of course, things scare you, but you have a healthy fear of it. Like, as long as you have that healthy fear and you respect the consequences, like right now, I don't know if I would go up You Gotta Be Nuts without having a roll cage on. That's on my bucket list of things to get next, is a roll cage. But no, I'm all about having fun and going out there and learning as much as I possibly can, since I'm so new to the sport, and it's been great. It's been a wild adventure for sure.
That's awesome. So what do you guys have on the books for wheeling events this year? What are y'all's big plans?
Well, um, we are trying to get to Easter Jeep Safari. However, our oldest daughter, who's 25, she is currently pregnant right now, and she's due on April 27th. So a lot of people are like, "Are you going to be there?" And it's like, it depends. It depends on her. So we would like to get down there. I know that one of our friends, he does a crawl for vets, for disabled vets. He gets a bunch of vets in, and they're able to go into the Jeeps with them, and they go and do a trail. And so that's really cool. He wants us to be a part of that. My husband is a veteran. I'm currently serving myself, and so would love to be able to be a participant in that and help out. I've wheeled in Moab one time. I think we did Poison Spider and Kings Creek. I would love to see what Moab has to offer. It's absolutely gorgeous down there. So we would love to make it to Easter Jeep Safari, but if we end up not making it, it's because we have our very first grandbaby on the way. So
That's so exciting.
oh, we are just ecstatic. That thing is going to be spoiled rotten. I want to get like one of those little buggies. I don't know if you've seen them for little kids. Oh yeah, like our grandkids are going to learn how to wheel at a very early age. Trail Hero for sure. That was a great experience. In fact, that was personally my first experience driving in a group. Uh, I'm the type of person that doesn't like to be in groups. It used to make me feel uncomfortable, like people are going to judge me, people are going to know I'm new, and maybe it's just because I'm used to that from previous experiences when I used to be a competitive horseback rider. I felt like there was a lot of people judging me, judging my riding style, judging my horse, all that kind of stuff. And so it made me nervous to be in a large group of people. But what I found was the complete opposite. We showed up the first day, and just my heart was racing, and we're in these staging lines, and look at all these Jeeps, and they're all so built, and I'm just in this like stock Jeep, and they're all going to know that I suck, and all that kind of stuff. And I remember the very first person that pulled up, and he's just like, "Am I in the right place? What trail is this? Like, I don't even know where I am." And we instantly became friends, and he ended up following us on the trail, ended up helping us with spots, and I learned very quickly that the Jeeping community is just such a tight knit community. I knew that Jeeps, like, it was almost like a cult, right? When you're not in the Jeeping crowd and you don't have a Jeep, you understand that they have their little Jeep waves and they have their ducks and stuff like that. But it's not until you're in it that you realize that it's so much deeper than that. That they're all there supporting each other. They're all out there trying to help you and to learn together. The goal is to get through the trails without any injury, without any damage. Hopefully, I mean, things happen. We understand, but everybody just seems to want to help each other. And I realized very quickly that that's what I wanted to do. I went from, I don't know if I want to do like these big group runs, to I think I only want to do group runs. Not only do I make these awesome friends, but I learn so much. And I'm a big advocate for being a lifelong learner, to always be trying to learn a new skill and trying to improve yourself in any way possible. And I really feel like going out with the groups, you're bound to learn something, right? So no, I absolutely love Trail Hero. Gonna definitely hit Winter Jamboree again. I'm going to bring more warm clothes because it was very, very cold. But we were lucky. It was nice and sunny the entire time. There was only one day that it was kind of windy, but it was very, very cold. I think I'm going to invest in one of those like soft tops because I went without the top, went without the doors, and it was cold, very, very cold. So that's all we have really planned for right now. I know that we'll probably try to make it down to Sand Hollow with some friends, maybe on some weekends and whatever, but that's all we really have planned for right now.
I mean, it sounds like some fun trips. And I love what you said about Trail Hero, because we will definitely be seeing you there again this year, because I kind of felt the same way. A little bit intimidated, even though I feel comfortable wheeling, right? And I have a fair amount of seat time. I mean, not as much as some that have been wheeling for decades, but I've been wheeling for some years, and I feel like I know my Jeep really well. But also, you see some of the Jeeps out there and you're like, oh man, like this, I feel like a baby compared to, some of these builds. And we were doing some challenging trails too, obviously, because we were running the same ones as you guys. And, you know, I went out with a group and broke on the trail. Thankfully, I came prepared with the tools and the parts to fix it. But, people that we met that day, like our trail guide and everybody, jumped right in and helped me fix it and finish the day. And like, it was just such a great experience, and everybody was so supportive. And, like you said, it's going out with groups like that is a learning experience. And I think that's part of the fun of wheeling, is continuing to learn and build on your skills and get better and learn, what you can improve on, and learn about what you want to do to improve on your build, on your rig. So I love it.
Oh, absolutely. And I know that you had mentioned that it was Dan that had helped you, right? So the
Yes.
trail guide. So yeah, he was our trail guide on Unforgiven at Winter 4x4 Jamboree, and he's amazing. He really, really is. But along those lines, going out with those groups, you have trail guides who live in that area, who literally go out 3-4 times a week. They know these trails backwards and forwards. They know the right lines to take you. I think Rick was telling me, he's like, yeah, I was really good with, I can't remember if he said 4 doors or 2 doors, but he was like, I was really good with those, but I really had to learn the 2 doors so that I could really spot people and understand how each of the vehicles, how they react and how they move and all that kind of stuff. So it gives me comfort to know that these different events like Trail Hero, Winter Jamboree, Easter Jeep Safari, that the volunteers that they have come to do the spotting and all that kind of stuff, that they're knowledgeable and that they're going to make sure that you're safe. And to me, it's like, okay, they're going to teach me how to wheel these lines. They're going to show me the right lines, and they're going to ensure that the line that I'm taking is correct. I mean, if Wes and I were to go down there together, I mean, I trust Wes too. He's a wonderful spotter. He's a wonderful Jeeper and everything. But we're not down in Sand Hollow. I think it was the April before. So last April was the very first time he had ever been to Sand Hollow. And so he's not used to all the different obstacles there. He doesn't know the lines. He doesn't know what some of those can do. I mean, some of them can be really tricky, but those volunteers do know. And it's comforting to know that when you go down on these events, that you're going to have people and guides and tail gunners, mid gunners, all these people that are there to support you, and they'll keep you safe. So it's great. I love them. I love them.
Yeah, it is great. We're actually, Micah and I are co-hosting one of the stops, the Apex Adventure series, coming up here in a couple of weeks at Wolf Caves, which is one of our parks here in Texas that's like awesome. And I hope to get you and Debicon and Wes and the Westcon down here to wheel it one day with us.
We would love to.
It's so much fun. You would love it. But we're going to do some guiding and hopefully some teaching to some people down there. And I think about all the great trail guides I've had and events like, Trail Hero or other events I've been to, and hope that we can at least fulfill a portion of those guys' shoes and do a good job and share our passion and knowledge with some people out in
Oh, I know
caves.
you will. You're wonderful. You're great.
I don't often feel like super confident as a spotter, but I think it's because I feel more pressure like when it's somebody else's rig on the line as opposed to mine. But Mike is there to fill in those gaps because he's an excellent spotter and has all the knowledge that he can that he can share when mine is running thin. So that's great. That's part of like being the wheeling couple. That's awesome. I know you guys can relate because you're
Mhm.
always there to support each other on the trails, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. And that's got to be a lot of stress for you to not have anyone, break their Jeep, right? So that very first day that I went out, my buddy, he still feels bad to this day for me breaking out my back windshield because he was taking a video for me on my phone, and he was looking down at the phone, and if he would have been like actually watching how I was coming down and how the spare tire went through the back window, like he could have stopped it, right? Or he would have had me take it more at an angle, right? And he's like, I have a picture of it, like we had already cleaned up all the glass and everything, and we're all like next to the Jeep and everything, and he's just like sad puppy there, like,
Oh,
oh, it's okay. Like I get it. Like you feel bad, but I can understand the pressure. You don't want anyone to ruin their Jeep. So yeah.
oh yeah, absolutely. When I broke on Risky Biz, Dan, I think he said his name was spotting me, and I pulled up and I knew I'm running 40s, and U joints can be a weak point anyway, and I knew it was bound to happen. And so I get up there and my steering was in a bind, and it's like it came over me. I knew it was going to happen, and then like instantaneously it did. And I wasn't, I mean, it was a bindy spot, but it wasn't like the worst ever. And he was like, oh no, I feel so bad. And was like way more worried about it than I was. I was like, no, I
It
knew this was
happened.
going to happen. I have a
Yeah.
U joint and a press in the back. He was like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, I'm serious. It's my weak point. I know it. I'm not going to drive all the way out here to Utah. Like, I love Matt's off-road recovery, but I don't want to call him. Like, we have the knowledge and the skill and the parts to fix this, so we're going to pull over here and do it. And we did. So I
Hmm.
hope that we don't have any of that at caves, but if so, that we will all rally around and help everybody. Everybody will get off the trail safely. That's the most important thing. So
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we actually bent a tie rod arm on the Debicon on Unforgiven, and we were not as prepared as you. And frankly, I did know that it was a possible weak point. Um, I mean, I am a huge fan of Apex. And in fact, when they found out that we did it, they were like absolutely shocked that it even happened in the first place. And it's like, I'll send you the video. I mean, I'm pretty rough on that Jeep. Like I'm not nice at all. I mean, I would like to say it's just because I'm rough, but I'll admit that there were some newbie mistakes that I made going back and looking at the footage, like coming down off of a straight drop and I turned my wheel at the last second. And so that's just a lot of pressure to put on
mhm.
that one wheel as it's fully turned. I mean, it's learning lessons. So I don't think that it was Apex's uh, tie rod arm that malfunctioned or anything. I think that it's user error for sure. But their customer service was absolutely amazing. I mean, we already have the replacement part for it, and they sent it out to us for free. Um, so I'm very happy about that. But it was the same thing that on the trail, like Wes had to leave and he had to go down to St. George. Now, I don't know if you know how far out Unforgiven is. It's on the very backside
Yeah.
of the park. So he had to drive. It was at least 45 minutes back to the highway, go get the truck, go into St. George, come back. one of my friends had been driving down to wheel with us, and he beat Wes up to me, and he got in the tie rod. We had just gotten a whole new assembly, and so I pulled that off and put the whole new assembly on, and yeah, like the trail guide and the gunners, like they were all insisting on just waiting with us. And it's like we so appreciate that. I ended up being up there for 4 hours waiting for them to come up there. Um, and they were just so insistent. And I was like, no, no, you guys are good. We're good, you know. But yeah, it's I'm glad that they care so much. And in fact, when when Wes drove back with them with Dan, he was like, here's my personal cell phone. Like, I'll meet you when you come back and I'll go back up there with you and help. And Wes is like, we really appreciate that. Like, but we're good. We really are. Like he has all the tools in the world in the Wesicon. So we were good. So yeah.
We did learn, Dan did have one tool that we didn't all carry with us. He had an angle grinder with us, and we've learned that that is something that you could come in handy on the trail. So we have added that now to our box of tools that we carry with us on the trail, because we had to have it to get my U-joint off. So he taught us something there, talking about learning moments there.
Isn't it so funny that every day after being on the trail, it's like, oh, I need this. Oh, I need this. Oh, I like so we ended up investing into a welder. So we got a Carnage welder. And there was one day that we had gone up just real close to home here. And Wes, I actually have a TikTok made of it. It's so funny because you can hear him over the radio being like, if you go faster over these bumps, it's not as bumpy, right? And then I literally come around the corner and he's like stopped and out of the Jeep. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I think I broke it. So come around, and there was a rock that was like jutting out that he just didn't see at all. And he was going fast and completely sheared the knuckle. And
Oh, no.
we're up on top of a mountain, and we're like, I don't know how we can even get this off. Like, we would have to get a helicopter or something because it was on the top of the mountain. And so we ended up having to go all the way home. And he's like, I've got a welder, bring it up. We have to have some sort of power. So my daughter, they have a camper. They're like, you can borrow our generator. So this huge generator, I put it in the back of Debicon, go back up there and try to weld it. And it was such a pain. And he's like, you know what? I'm getting a welder. I'm getting a welder for the trail. And we ended up actually using it at Winter 4x4 Jamboree. So that's another good thing to have in your toolbox, is possibly a welder.
Yeah. That's one thing that Mike has talked about. He wants one of those premier power welders.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, they're so great.
Yeah. And I've had a friend shear off a track bar bracket on the trail and had to have somebody come out and weld it. So I can definitely see how that that would come in handy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So when we talked at the beginning of the show, we talked about Beeman Builds. So tell us what Beeman Builds is. I mean, I know obviously, but tell us about your channel and all the things.
So even though we are technically a business, it's actually something that my husband and I just do as a hobby. So we have 4 children, and they range in ages from 25 to 16. Our youngest is still in the home. So we are almost empty nesters, and we've spent literally the last 20 plus years raising children, right? And it got to the point where it's like 3 of our 4 children are out of the house, and we look at each other like, now what? What do we do with our lives, And like I had said earlier, I used to be into competitive horseback riding. I love surfing behind boats and stuff. We have a boat, but you can only do that for 3 months out of the year here in Utah. And my husband's like, you really need a hobby. And I'm like, yeah, we really need a hobby. So we have a shop in our backyard. It was actually supposed to be a barn for my horses, but it ended up being a shop for him. And that's where he built Wesicon. That's where he's built a various number of cars. Like he's a wonderful builder. I absolutely love how meticulous and how well he builds his vehicles. I actually got my degree in marketing, and I used to be a social media marketer for my parents' business many moons ago. But there's one thing that I never did. I never created videos. Um, and so we decided one day, Wes is like, how he loves his YouTube videos. He's like, why don't we just start a channel and we can show the vehicles that we build. It's too late for Wesicon because it's already built, but anything forward we could do. And it actually turned out to be such an amazing thing to do together as a couple, because he has his hobby, his outlet as being out in the shop and building and creating these amazing vehicles. Right now, he's working on, we're affectionately calling it side piece because he spends more time with the truck than with me. So it's his side piece. And so he's trying to make that he calls it his street beast. He's going to try to hit 1,200 horsepower in that diesel truck. So he's out in the shop building things, and we're creating videos out of it. And I've always been interested in learning how to create videos, like in Adobe Rush, Adobe Premiere Pro, and it is very complex. Like, I didn't realize how complex it was, but I love it. Like, it's such a creative outlet for me, and it's something fun for us to work on together. Like, how can we improve our videos? We already know that our first few videos sucked, and I'm sure that 5 years from now, we're going to look back at the videos that we have now and they suck. But it's something that we come together and analyze and just have so much fun. It's like, okay, we built this Wesicon, we built this Jeep, and now we're going out and having fun with it. So I guess you could call it a slogan that we build stronger or build better so that we can play harder. So basically building in the shop and then taking it out and having fun with it. We have no sponsors. We're not in it for any kind of money. I mean, I think we've made $19 off of TikTok lives. Like, we're just having fun with it. So yeah, it's just more or less something that Wes and I have done together. And if people want to join along in our shenanigans and have fun with us, and yeah, that's the only thing that we do, really. And we love it. We absolutely love it.
I love your YouTube channel. I was watching it. So I don't watch TV. I mean, I say every now and then I'll watch something, but I work a lot, and then I'm, dealing with the Jeep or doing other stuff. But so I'm a YouTube person. I love watching YouTube. I mean, I mentioned Matt's Off-Road Recovery earlier. Love, Peck Brothers, all of this stuff. But last night, that's my treat. My bedtime YouTube videos was Beam and Builds, watching y'all do some stuff at Winter 4x4 Jamboree. And I think your videos are awesome. And I was like, rooting for you going up the launch pad, because I was like, oh, Debbie, that's steep. And then boop, you popped right up it, made it look super easy. So yeah, I think your videos are fantastic. And it was awesome watching it kind of in person. And that's, like, we didn't even know each other then, but I was seeing Angel run around and take videos or whatever. And now I'm able to go back and like watch the final product of your stuff from Trail Hero, and it's fantastic. Everybody definitely needs to go check it out. So
thank you so much. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah, I mean, and your editing skills are fantastic. So, and it's cool to get to follow along, with the build process. And then, like you're saying, this is what we built, and then this is what we can do on the trail. And I love that. I love seeing that in videos, being able to kind of follow the story from the beginning to the end. It's great.
Well, thank you for watching it. I appreciate it. We had a lot of fun actually doing that one. It was a whole new idea of this competition, because Wes and I are always in competition with each other. And frankly, like someone threw out like, man, Wes, I think she might have outwheeled you. And so I wanted to show, okay, how many times did we go up clear? How many times did we have to reset, and style points for him, going up that second launch pad with the wheels off the ground. Like, oh my gosh, I was laughing so hard making that scene. It was so funny. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And that's again the lifelong learner. It was a whole new skill to pick up, and it's taken a lot of watching other YouTube videos on how to create videos and how to edit and how um, it's been drinking from a fire hose, that's for sure. And then not only understanding YouTube, because I wasn't a connoisseur of YouTube. That's Wes. I was more of a Facebook girl, a TikTok girl. And so learning the different algorithms and stuff like that, it's been so much fun. And then especially on Instagram, just recently, within the last like 2 months, like when did you and I reconnect? It was only like a month and a half ago.
Hmm.
Um, it, it I've really been drawn into Instagram just because of the Jeeping community there. It is so tight knit. It really, really is. So no, it's been a ton of fun. It really, really has. It's a great hobby. It really is.
It is. It is. And that's part of what continues to draw me into the social media thing is like I have met lifelong friends there.
Mhm.
People that I would have never thought, like I told you earlier, I felt like a giddy little girl when I had Julie Aqua Jeep Girl, on the here on Chick Chat because I'm just, I'd been following along with her and, she'd been inspiring me. So I think it's just, but then you get to meet her in person through the social media and just, to meet so many people with so much knowledge and, you get to build amazing friendships out of it. And I just absolutely love it.
That's funny that you bring up Julie. So again, Wes is the one that's always watching the Jeeping videos back years ago, and it's like, he's watching his Jeep stuff. And then one day I see this Jeep, and it's aqua blue. So Tiffany's blue. Like I am a Tiffany's blue girl. Like I love Tiffany's. Um, so of course I'm drawn, and I see it, and it's like, oh, that's a really like pretty color, gorgeous Jeep and everything. And then it's a girl driving it. Like I always used to think that it's very male dominated sport hobby. I don't know what you would call it, hobby, I guess. Um, and to see a girl out there, like it really kind of sucked me in. And so I started watching, and I was so intrigued, and she just was killing it out there. She was keeping up with all the guys and everything. And so that I think was the very first time that the thought came into my mind that girls can do this too. And not only can they do it, they can kill it. Like they can keep up with the guys just fine, right? Um, so it is interesting that you bring up Julie, because she was one of my very first inspirations into getting into it. I think if I wouldn't have watched her and a couple of the other female drivers out there, I don't know that I would have really wanted to try wheeling or even really thought of it. I know that Light Bright, Brittany was another one that I used to watch as well. And I just love her personality. Like both Julie and Brittany's like very positive, and it's just contagious almost, right? Luna with Off Road and Chill,
Mm-hmm.
she seems so sweet and kind, and absolutely love them. It's these women in wheeling that really push me, like this is something I can do. I'm used to being in very male dominated workforce, being in the military and everything. Um, I don't like feeling like I'm the outsider, and that I'm feeling like maybe I'm not as capable as the men. And they help push me into this hobby, knowing that I could be possibly as good as some of the males. So hats off to them. Like I'm the same way. When I met Julie in person, like almost giddy like a schoolgirl, like oh my goodness, like fangirling over her. But she really is an inspiration. She really, really is. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, there are so many, that to watch out there, and when you meet them and they're just as kind in person, it's mate. I love it. You're one of those people. I love that we've been able to, connect outside of that, and hopefully, we'll be wheeling at events for years to come, and I'll get to
Oh,
watch Beam and
absolutely. We
Bill.
better. I'll come
Yeah,
out to Texas. Don't tempt me with a good time. I've got to be out in Oklahoma anyway, so.
oh, come on, girl. You'll love it. You'll love it. We got to get you out here for some Texas wheeling. You'll love it.
Heck yeah, I'm down. I'm down.
So before we wrap up, we talked about, Instagram and everything, and YouTube. Tell us where we can find you on all the social medias and where we can find Beam and Builds.
So we are on, I mean, obviously that's kind of our focus. And it's just because we just build or create videos of our builds and then what we do with our builds. So that's kind of our bread and butter, and that's kind of where our focus is. But really on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, we're just at Beeman Builds for everything. And Beeman is spelled like be a man, like, Mulan, be a man. It's our last name. I mean, obviously Wes had the last name first, but I inherited it. But yeah, just Beeman Builds. You can find us on any of those platforms, and we welcome anybody to join in the shenanigans and fun times that we have, and we really have enjoyed just growing a community there, and people that enjoy watching our stuff. Like it really warms my heart when people like you say that you've watched our stuff and that you enjoyed the content, and it's like it helps make the copious amount of hours that it took to create those videos worth it. If I could entertain you and possibly teach you guys something, like and Wes, I know that he's been focusing more on how-to videos, like he did a how-to video on the PSC steer assist, because there's really none out there for the JLUs out there. So you'll see a bunch of PSC installs for the JKs and everything else, but we couldn't find anything for the diesel or for JLs. So, and I know that he's done some how-tos for different diesel stuff as well. He's working on a 4th gen truck right now, and he's doing a bunch of how-tos as well. So if we can help educate people and help people when they have issues with their trucks, with their Jeeps or whatever, and then just have fun in our adventures, then great. Like, join in the family. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to be it for this episode of Chic Chat. And we hope that you have been inspired by some things that we've shared, by Debbie's story. We hope that you check her out and continue to be inspired by her. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure that you subscribe to the Jeep Talk Show so that you don't miss an episode. And remember to embrace the thrill of the off-road and embody your own unique style. Always keep pushing the boundaries of what you thought's possible, because anything is possible.
Broadcasting since 2010.
You're my friend. You're my new friend.